Welcome, welcome.
Here you go.
Thank you guys so much for coming, by the way. This is my first panel, so it's kind of awesome to see people who are actually interested in seeing it. How's your guys' convention going so far? Good? Yeah, that's great. Like I said, this is my first panel, so it might be a little awkward at first, but I'm going to do my best to keep it alive. With that said, welcome to Furry Friends. This is my first panel, as you can see, hosted by Rainu and Zylo. We have two suits that are actually going to be up for auction. Feel free if you're interested in wanting them. The first suit is actually Rainu himself, right here. He's going to be up for auction, as well as all the way on the other end there. We have a tiger suit up for sale, also known as Spirit. Character rights will not actually go with it. It will be just the suits themselves that are up for sale. At the end, I'll get into how you can make a bid, or if you want to buy it outright fully as well. With that said, I think we could probably go ahead and start getting started with the actual panel itself. So, with that said, what is a persona? A persona is a depiction of yourself as an anthropomorphic character in relation to the furry fandom. So, with that said, for example, persona being mine, being Rainu, there's all sorts of things, to go with the persona. And so the first thing is, how do you create a persona? You're going to need things like personality, key features such as marks, colors, cuts, bruises, stuff of that sort. For mine, as you can see here, he's got some marks that come, down his shoulders. Those are big key features, something to, really make him pop. As well as things such as, species, wolf, fox, hybrid, protogen. As I'm sure you guys see walking around the convention, there's tons of different species. Tons of awesome, hybrids and species that I'm not even familiar with myself. Over here, there's a really cool suit here. I'm not 100% sure of the species, but
You look so dope.
There's also another cool one back here in the corner. Tons of cool suits. You literally just look around. There's another one over here. You just look around, and there's tons of cool suits, and that's part of creating a persona. You get to make it yourself. Another big key feature is a ref sheet or a reference sheet, and an optional backstory or connection. So, for example, my being here, Rainu, he's actually a demon wolf from his planet. He's actually got a comic book, if anyone's actually interested. But yeah, so the backstory is a big thing to do with it. An example of a ref sheet, and the persona. As you can see right in here, he's got plenty of key features here, such as, he's got plenty of key features such as markings, piercings, tons of cool stuff. As you can see here, his whole persona is kind of supposed to be the bad boy type feel. By the way, if any of you guys have questions throughout any of this, feel free to speak up, because a lot of this is also going to be led by you guys as the crowd, so questions and concerns, stuff like that also. But so this is my being Rainu. Another example of a ref sheet and character design is her Zyla here has an actual persona, and they go by Clementine, and they, them pronouns. As you can see here, they have the pink and blue hair, and the unicorn horn with the dog ears. That's another type of persona. Playing into that, it's really just all about creation and creativity. The furry fandom wouldn't be as big and popular as it is without any sort of creativity. By the way, guys, feel free to pop in if you have anything, if I miss anything.
The piercings.
Oh, piercing. Really important.
You got to talk.
Oh, my bad. Piercings are very important.
Can you guys hear? She's pretty shy, so.
We got this. I'll have to put the microphone in my mouth.
There you go.
Yeah, I got this. I can do it.
So So now what were you saying?
The piercings.
Yes,
Like
piercings.
that's going to be such a big way to make your character kind of be more unique than it already is.
Yeah, so for example, I'm sure you've seen the big floof bean walking around here. They've got a septum, and just feel free to say hi. They're a really good person. But yeah, so
We
looks
didn't.
like
We didn't.
it looks like we actually are missing a slide here. I'm not exactly sure. So leading into personas and creations, you're gonna have something called furry art. And there's plenty of types and finishes. So for example, you got finishes to your furry art, such as sketches, fine art, flat color, shaded, painting, and three-dimensional, as well as illustrations. So what kind of art there is. So you got icons, headshots, busts, half bodies, thighs up, full bodies, as well as scenes and ref sheets. With that, there's plenty of creativity you can put in there. There's really no limits to what you can do with your Sona or your ref sheet. As long as you're having fun with it, really, and you just kind of get creative with it, there's plenty of options you can really do. It doesn't always have to be, crazy pop colors. Like, for example, my guy here, Rainu, he's kind of pretty basic. He's got the hair floof and the piercings, and then just, your basic markings. There's plenty of options you can do. It doesn't have to be basic. It can be crazy, colorful, something to draw the eyes in. It just really depends on your personality.
I'm gonna cut in. I think another really cool type of art is badges. If you can see on my suits, they all have little badges underneath. They're not super hard to make, and when you're walking around in your fursuit, it's a great way for people to know your name.
Yeah, I agree totally. Badges are, I've got one on myself here for Rainu. It's pretty small, you can't quite see them. But badges are another great way to not only establish a character, but to help connect. Walking around furry fandoms furry conventions, you can add, on the back QR codes or @ for your character. So, for example, my Telegram, Twitter stuff, you can connect that on your badge. So when people are walking around, it's a great way to, quickly, swap information and say hi, make friends. Badges are definitely a good way to connect in the fandom.
And especially if you don't have fursuits who talk. If you have a fursuit and you don't talk in your fursuit, it's very helpful to have something that has your name on it, so people know what to call you.
Just like this being here, Xylo doesn't genuinely talk. Xylo's more of a squeak.
This is a special time.
Yeah, this is the one time Xylo's voice works.
And I think even if you don't have a fursuit, if you have a character, you can still have a badge of your character on.
Yeah, even if you're shy, it's just an easy way to hey, this is me.
So here we have some icon examples. Like I said, anything from a basic to pop, pop in your face, hello, hi. Here we've got Clementine, which is this being's character.
Yes.
As you can see, it's detailed, it's shaded, it's up and popping. And then you've got this one over here, which is a little less pop, but it's also still, creative.
Evil boys.
Huh?
Evil boys.
Yes, evil boys. So
Scary ones.
these are both my characters. As you can see, I have my personality is more,
Insane.
how do I say this? Insane. No, it's more. I prefer the more serious looking characters, versus if you go back to here, you got the more cutesy characters, which definitely plays in the fandom. And I can tell you firsthand, I walk around conventions, and it's funny because little kids will come up to me from behind thinking I'm a cute character, and then I'll turn around and I don't even have to say anything, they just start crying. and I'm like, oh no, I'm not trying to be spooky. And that actually plays into, how you feel about your character, because with me, when I designed Rainu, it wasn't necessarily supposed to be scary, it was more or less supposed to be cool. But then you got all these, these characters here, which are cute, cuddly, and people want to go up and give them hugs, and then there's these characters, which is more oh god, are they going to rip my face off as soon as they see me? But these are both my characters, actually. This guy here is Chaos, the Yin. I've recently actually been getting into Yins and moving away from the basic wolf. Because
Hey, don't dish wolves.
nothing against wolves, nothing against wolves.
I'm offended.
Then this being here is Rainu. this is actually one of my favorite pieces of art because it's got, it's shaded, it's in depth,
And he looks cute.
and he looks cute. He's got his little lemon down here.
It's very reminds me of Balto. So if you have a favorite furry movie, you can also commission art in sort of that style.
For sure, for sure. Some bust examples are, chest up. As you can see here, you've got yourself a more in-depth on the left side here. And on the right, you've got more of a, I would say, not necessarily basic, but less in-depth photo, And with that said, it's really up to, your choice and what you want with your photos. They can be anything from just a basic sketch to, in-depth, And I think that's one of the things with the furry fandom I personally really like is how you can be creative. You can really express yourself, and you very rarely will see any negativity towards, your characters. Some half-body examples. I'm sure you guys have seen this being walking around the convention. He's going to try and join us if he gets time, but he actually led the karaoke panel that was yesterday, both the 18 plus and the non-18 plus panel. It was a very fun panel. I heard someone say, well, who was that? And then this being also owned by Skyler here, named Astro, and as you can see, there's tons of different designs on here, different colors, and it's got the septum. Like I said, back to the piercings. A lot of people like to add piercings because it gives personality to the character, and with the furry fandom, personality is a big one.
She was my first edgy Sona. I'm gonna be honest.
The traditional edgy Sona.
Yeah, I still have her, but a little bit of an edge lord there.
Yeah, I mean the wings too kind of catch my eye. You can also add wings to a character.
It doesn't. If you want to be a cat, you don't have to only have cat features. So if you want to be, I don't know, any animal. You can add wings, get rid of something. It's really just about what you want to do with it.
My favorite features in Fursuits, not knocking down crazy colors, but I like natural looking features that still don't exist in species in real life. You have this black panther here. You also have the yellow spotted panthers. But if you look at other species that's yellow and black, like a Labrador Retriever, they also have chocolate color. So a chocolate spotted leopard or jaguar would be awesome.
Yeah,
Of course. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. I think you can take aspects of different animals and apply them to animals that aren't the same. So if you took leopard spots and put them on a dragon, something like that.
Yeah, of course, that's kind of what I did here with Rainu because, I wanted something to seem more realistic, but I also wanted it to give a splash of, my inner self. Of course, because you're never going to see a red and black wolf out there in the wild who can, have all his powers and say hello, and I kind of agree with you because it's I went with the realistic look, but I also splashed in a touch of imagination, creativity to it.
My Persona has that feature because my favorite cats are the black cats that have a white spot on their chest.
Oh, of course.
And they later added the one on the tip, kind of to balance it.
Very cute.
And do any of you guys have questions yet, or anything of that matter, or any input, or anything you guys would like to say?
We're not scary, I promise.
I promise I don't bite out of suit.
Gotta make that joke.
Of course I do. I'm an edgelord.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
Rainu the demon wolf, come on.
Rainu
guys.
is the edgiest character ever.
Alright, should we do the next slide? Oh.
Thigh up. So this is, from generally either the upper knee to the upper thigh and then up, hence the reason thigh up. As you can see here, once again, we've got a very creative, in-depth, created species here. I'm not 100% on the species. This actually used to be my character that I gave over to Xylo. As you're going to notice, Xylo has a problem with collecting characters.
I do not have a problem. It's just over 100.
They have over 100 species, or 100 characters.
They're very cute.
And it's so funny because they expect me to remember every single one of their names. And by the time I remember half of them, the other half already traded, gone, or completely new.
It's like Pokemon.
It is like Pokemon.
It really is like Pokemon.
As long as it doesn't have a suit. Oh.
Next slide.
Full body.
Yes.
One of my favorite types of art is the full body.
The best.
Well, you get the whole entire body in there, so you can really get your character. As you can see here, we got Rainu.
Rascal.
The crazy boyo. I'd like to portray him as spooky, but yet lovable, if you will, because he gives off the impression that he's not fun, but in reality he just loves snuggles and laying around on the floor being cute. And then this is also my being, Chaos Dean, but as a rascal, or chippy, I guess, if you will. He's giving off the impression here that he's get into some sort of trouble or some mischief, but he's also going to be cute and cuddly while doing it. Maybe he'll get away with it that way.
Yeah, full body art is definitely like very cool, but it will run you a little bit more money than like a headshot would, just because it takes like a lot more effort to make a full body.
Yeah, we're pretty much going in like order. Like the last things we show are going to be probably more pricey out of them because it is a lot more art that people are trying to draw. I'm trying. So this has to eat the microphone.
Yeah.
So another big one in the furry fandom here is type of
Yeah.
scenes that you can commission. It doesn't always. Sorry, go ahead.
Is Xylo?
Yes, as you can see, Bean is currently laying in ice cream. Scenes are a great way to portray a character other than just character design, because in a scene you can really give more in depth to the personality of your characters. For example, Xylo is over here laying in ice cream, covered in ice cream, because Xylo absolutely loves ice cream. And a fun fact about Xylo, he's based off of Neapolitan ice cream.
I am based off of ice cream.
So he's sweet, cuddly, and enjoyable, and doesn't give you brain freezes. Then on this one you also have Clementine.
And Lumpy.
Another one of her characters, and Lumpy, which is another one of her characters.
Lumpy
You're going to
is
notice a
Lumpy.
trend here.
Most of these are going to probably be my characters. It's a problem.
So like, for a good example in the scene, and in terms of in-depth to your character, Xylo is a squeaky bean who likes to get in mischief and is really hyper. So in this case, he's laying in ice cream because he's hyper, and that gives, it gives more depth into your character when you have backgrounds and scenes and stuff like that, which backgrounds will genuinely add up. So when you commission an artist, which we will get into that, but when you commission an artist, genuinely they'll charge you more for a scene just because it's adding on to the characters. As you can see, here's the squeaky bean.
Yeah, and as we talked about, like, a scene is a great way to, like, bring more aspects of your character's personality in a visual way. Like, as you can see, like, for Xylo, like, covered in ice cream. Like, if you had, like, a character that lives underwater, underwater scene, stuff like that.
Yeah, it shows like everything about them. It can show where they like hang out the most, stuff like that. And it can show their personality a lot more than any other piece of art can.
Reference sheets. So, as you've seen back in the first couple of slides, reference sheets are a great way to not only explain your character, but when you commission art, artists tend to lean towards wanting a reference sheet, so that way they get a good idea, because describing your character versus them actually being able to see your character is way more helpful to an artist to be able to see your sheet. And my friend Xylo here is an artist, so she can get more in depth to that, but here are some good examples, because you can have something like a basic reference sheet over here. Sorry. I'm still learning pronouns. I've always been respectful of it, but I'm still learning, how to actually get it down. So when I'm referring to someone, I'm doing it respectfully. So I do apologize. You'll hear me correcting myself quite a bit.
Yes.
But yeah, so like, you'll have a basic reference sheet here. This is my character, Cosmic.
That's cool.
He is a space fox from outer space. And as you can see, it just lists the basic colors and gives a front and back view. So that way they can get an idea of what to create. But you can also have a more in-depth one over here, like Xylo's, where it gives, the front, the back, the pronouns, some accessories, etc.
And then,
No, you can go.
So like when you do commission a reference sheet, you do want to keep in mind like what are you going to be using the reference sheet for. So like if you want a fursuit, you're definitely going to want it to be more simplistic. So like if you have a bunch of color gradients or like all these rainbow colors, your fursuit's going to be very, very hard to make. So it's going to be really hard to find a maker for that. So you want to simplify your character for a fursuit reference sheet versus an art reference sheet.
And keep in mind, if you are commissioning a fursuit, your reference sheet probably will need like a good amount of views, so your fursuit maker can have like the exact details of your suit. You know where everything's gonna be.
Yeah, so like a three-way perspective instead of like just two. So you have one from the front, one from the side, one from the back.
So, what are some steps you can take to commission your own art? A big one is to study options before selecting an artist. Do some research looking into each artist that you want to make sure that the artist you're getting is, that you're going to commission is reliable and is, got good rep, or, because if you commission without actually looking into it, you could be walking right into, a scam artist or someone who takes your money but won't actually ever give you the art back. So the big first step is to study your options. Get out there and look for some options like, you get to talking to an artist first, looking at some of their history of postings. Usually they'll, you can find their Twitter, and they will actually have examples of their art up on their Twitter as well as some reviews. So studying is a big one. Another big step you can take is budgeting. What are you wanting to spend? Is it flexible or a tight budget? Do you want to spend $60? $100? Because if you go up to an artist that is charging $120 for a piece of art, but you only got $50, and they're not going to be too happy with you if you get them already up and get their expectations that they're going to get a purchase from you, and then you can't afford their art.
Yeah, and I think like an important step to commissioning art is, of course, opening a PayPal account or a Venmo account or something like that. And when you do buy art or fursuit parts or anything like that, make sure you're not sending it through friends and family. Because if you send it through friends and family on PayPal and you do get scammed, there's no way to get that money back.
Biggest mistake you can make.
Yeah, so you're gonna want to make sure you're sending it like as an actual like product, or like a lot of artists do send invoices, which is a way you pay for a product also.
And yeah, we'll get, later into the panel, we'll actually discuss how to avoid getting scammed or red flags to see if you're going to be getting scammed. As for, commissioning your own art, another good one is a time frame. How fast do you need it completed by? Can it take time? Is it going to be a rushed product, or is it going to be, smooth at their own pace? Because commission prices will depend on, how fast you need it, is it lenient? Stuff like that all plays into it's a big factor into commissioning art. Do you guys have anything to add to that? Or?
No. One other thing is just like to make sure like you remember that artists do set their prices. So if you find an artist that doesn't fit your budget, like that's okay. There's still a lot of other artists you can find. So instead of like haggling an artist to like make their prices lower, just find someone within your budget.
Yeah, I don't recommend like telling an artist that you can't afford their art and you want it for cheaper, because most artists will like blacklist you while hearing that.
They do not like that.
Don't tell an artist to make their prices lower. It's like the worst thing you can ever say to someone.
Agreed. Another good step is style. Know your style of what you're gonna want before you go out there, because kind of like with number 5 here, putting your ideas on paper, you're gonna want to have your ideas and your thoughts put together first before reaching out to an artist. Most artists will work with you and they're happy to help come up with some ideas for you, but generally if you can come to them with ideas of what you already want, it will not only save time, but the process of commissioning all together will be a lot easier.
Yeah, and I know some artists do like artistic liberty commissions. Like if you maybe wanted a character, you could be like, we get an artistic liberty like wolf character, and they might be able to make that for you. It just depends on like what the artist offers.
Wasn't Rainu artistic liberty?
Yeah, so actually with Rainu here, he was completely artistic liberty. Fun fact about Rainu, his suit was actually created before his very first piece of art ever was made. So when I reached out to the creator of Rainier here, which by the way is Aetherwares on Twitter. She's a really sweet maker, and I definitely recommend if you want to get a suit created to go to Aetherwares because they are one of the most respectful and open people I've ever met for fursuits in general.
And then just like, is everyone clear on like what exactly the definition of artistic liberty is? Like, do we need any clarification on that at all? Anywhere? We all good? All right.
So yeah, with Rainier here, he was, and I'll hold him up so people I can see him a little bit better. This was all based off of just words. I reached out to them and pretty much said, hey, artistic liberty, do what you want. All I would like is I'll ride a black wolf. You're more than welcome to do whatever you would like. So this is what they came up with. And it was one of those rare occurrences where my ref sheet is actually based off of my suit. Usually you'll get a ref sheet and I get the suit. But in this case, I wanted to go to Aquatifur 2 years ago, and I wanted to have something to wear to Aquatifur, and so this was done, and she was actually pressured. I feel bad because I almost would say I rushed her to get the product done, but even though she was on such a tight time limit, this is what she would produce, and I absolutely love the suit. It's a very good quality suit.
All right, should we go to the next slide?
All right. Would you like to do this one? Would any of you guys like to do this one?
We could like collaborate.
Okay, yeah, I make this.
Do you want me to like read it, or can you see in your suit?
I got this.
You got
I got
it.
this. So, like, what is a fursuit? Obviously, people know, like, this is probably a fursuit. If you're in the fandom, you most likely have seen one before. But fursuit are a custom-made animal costume and worn by cosplayers and members of the furry fandom. You don't necessarily have to be a furry to have a fursuit because it is just cosplay.
You also don't need to have a fursuit to be a furry.
That too. You do not need to have a fursuit to be in the fandom. You don't need to like fursuits to be in the fandom. It's just something that a lot of people do.
Just adding on to that, a good way people look at fursuits is it's considered a luxury item in the fandom. It's not a necessity, but it is a want for a lot of people.
It definitely is very much a luxury item. They are a bit pricey. If you've ever commissioned or bought one, you know they are pricey. But definitely totally worth it. Like, as you can see, we've got quite a few fursuits here, and they all are like different price points too.
Yes, they're a lot of different price points. Now that you probably have a persona, you might want a fursuit of it, so I'm pretty much going to explain, what kind of steps you can take and what kind of fursuits they are. There are different styles and then completions of fursuits. So, we have practically every style of fursuit on this table except a plush suit.
Anyone got a plush suit in the audience?
Those are so cute.
Very cute.
First we have Toonie, which is what I would be and what Panda here would be. Then we have Semi-Toonie, which I would consider Rainu. Semi-Toonie is like, it's not fully realistic, it's not fully Toonie, it's kind of like a mix of both. It's usually a realistic suit that has unrealistic colors. We have Realistic, which is Spirit, the tiger suit over there. She has fully realistic colors. We have Kimono, which is a lot of our suits.
This is Kiri. She's like a really good example of a kimono suit, I feel like. Big eyes, tiny, tiny mouth.
Yeah, any of our Fenacraft suits, which they all kind of look the same. You can probably tell which one's Fenacraft and which is not. Those are considered kimono suits. They have a lot bigger eyes than mouths. And it's just a more cutesy way of suits. It actually originated in Japan and anime. That's why the big eyes are a thing. And then we have plush suits, which are pretty much what a normal Toonie suit is, but just think of it as a giant stuffed animal instead.
Yeah, lots of padding. So like pretty much like the whole bodysuit on a plush suit is going to be padded. So like if you're not very tolerant to heat, do not get a plush suit.
And then just adding on, you have like the types of completions of fursuits. So for example, with Spirit Domination, So with Spirit down there, who is actually which is up for sale tonight, it's just a head. There's nothing actually to go with it. It's just just the head. There is some paws that you can take with it too. Then you have a mini partial, which is usually just head, paws, and then a full and tail, and then a full partial is you've got your head, your paws, your feet, paws, and your tail. And then you got yourself a 3/4 suit, which I'm going to have her explain. Because I'm not.
You do not know what a 3/4 suit, do you?
I do not have a clue what a 3/4 suit is.
Okay, 3/4 suit is usually when you have like digigrade legs and arm sleeves and paws and stuff. It's usually for when you want to full suit, but you're not really good with heat, so you'll still wear just a normal t-shirt. Yeah, it usually consists of your whole legs and your whole arms, but the chest area does not have any fur, so it wouldn't be considered a full suit.
I can explain the last two. So a plantigrade full suit is going to be a full fursuit, so you're entirely covered, but there's going to be no padding at all. So it's going to be just like wearing furry pants.
Or like a onesie,
Yeah, like a
a
onesie.
fluffy onesie.
And then digigrade full suits, so those you're going to have like padding on the legs, maybe padding on the stomach. So it's going to look like more realistic animal legs instead of like your human legs. And then for a quad suit, these are very special.
They're very cool.
Very cool.
If you have a Sona that is like a feral character or a character that walks on all fours, that's usually what a quad suit is made as. Instead of what a normal fursuit does, we walk just on our 2 feet. Quad suits look like they're walking on all 4 legs. And it's quite awesome. You don't see many around, but they are a completion of fursuit.
They're also probably the most expensive on the list, if I'm being honest.
And most uncomfortable.
Yeah, that too. You cannot wear them for very long, and they're very, very expensive.
You know, like bear crawling is that in a fursuit.
Yeah. All right.
So here's some example of some tuning fursuits.
Like me.
As you can see, just kind of like with the art, it's really up to you on how in-depth and how creative you want your suits to be.
And I mean, when you're commissioning, you definitely want to pick your maker based on the style you want. Like, based on the other styles that the maker has. So like if you go to a Toonie fursuit maker and you ask for a realistic suit, they might not take that commission for you.
And like even Toonie's just a really generic way of saying like a certain style, because there are a lot of styles in the Toonie category. Like you can't say and all 3 of these suits, look the same at all. Or Xylo and Panda doesn't look the same because different makers do have different styles. So never, even if they're both Toonie makers, don't go to one maker and asking for a style of another maker, because it's not something that they necessarily would want to do.
Yeah, if you want a maker's style, go to the maker that's the style is that you want. So like if you want MFF style, go to, or not MFF, sorry, what is it? More for less. More for less. If you want more for less's style, commission more for less. Don't go to this small maker and be like, can you make me a more for less suit? Because it's not going to work.
That can also seem in a way disrespectful because
Definitely.
you're trying to get someone else's quality work for either cheaper or to have someone else do someone else's work, which is almost in a way it is stealing someone else's work.
Yeah, and it's kind of just saying the maker you're asking to do that their style isn't what you want, and it can make them feel bad.
Then you have a semi-Toonie's fursuit, which is Rainu here. Again, or also on the screen, you have some examples as well.
Yes.
Then you have a realistic fursuit. There were some in the dealer's den. I don't know if you guys have actually been in the dealer's den yourselves, but right when you first walked in and to your right, they were selling some pretty awesome looking realistic suits.
It's usually, like realistic suits are pretty much if anthropomorphic animals were real, that's exactly what they would look like. They wouldn't look like cute, toony cartoon animals. They would look a little more realistic. Still cool.
Yeah.
Just, not a pink wolf.
Do we have a question?
I was just saying, it looks like a fishy.
It does. Very much so.
I've definitely heard the joke before that like some of the realistic fursuits look like they could be in a zoo, like with all the animals because of how realistic they look.
I mean, they're really good. It's very talented to make a realistic suit, so, good for them.
Then next up we have some kimono suits. Again,
Like us.
just like the one that's over there on the table. If you could hold that up for them to see.
Oh yeah, like which one?
Any of them for kimono.
Any of them? Like, here's more like toony. I would say Furry is definitely kimono.
Like you were saying, kimono usually consists of really big and plastic-covered eyes to make it look more shiny,
All of
and
our-
just a very small mouth.
Yeah, all of our Fenny Craft suits up here, which are these 4, they all have plastic covering on the eyes, which also goes into like, if you have like asthma or any sort of breathing problems like that, a kimono suit might not be for you just because it's less ventilation, because you don't have ventilation through the eyes. Woo.
And then my favorite plush suits, which what I was saying, they're like big stuffed, walking stuffed animals. They're definitely not, you have to have very high heat tolerance to wear a plush suit. I don't recommend them if you don't have high heat tolerance because they consist of a good amount of padding.
You will roast.
Yes, you will roast.
You feel free to come in.
Yeah,
Hello.
welcome.
It's okay.
Yeah, you're good.
You can join.
No, nobody's allowed in ever.
Yeah, you'll have to leave.
Get out.
No worries. More furry friends, the better, right?
No dogs allowed.
Oh, you can come on in. So, how to get a fursuit?
Oh yes, I forgot to. Oh god, I can't help.
Okay, do you want me to move in here?
Two big paws.
So we've covered, furry art and how to get furry art, commission furry art. We've covered the types of fursuits, and now that you have that common knowledge, a good one is how to get a fursuit. Not crazily enough, not a lot of people actually know, how to, commission or how to even get a pre-made or even a pre-owned suit. There's plenty of options and routes you can take. There's a few steps on getting your own character commissioned, such as, first you got to find a maker. Did you know where to start? I didn't even know this.
I knew this.
Zylo here taught me this. There's actually a website that you can visit
Magical website.
for fursuit reviews, and they'll actually, you can go on there and look, and so you can see like, is this fursuit maker, reliable? Are they a good fursuit maker? Is their quality good?
And you can find thousands of makers on there for low budgets or high budgets, and whatever style you really want, you can find. It's called Fursuit Reviews.
Fursuit reviews.
Yeah, it's just, that's all you have to search, and you can just find so many different suit makers.
Yeah. They have a ton of makers on there. They have Fenny Craft on here, who's made all 4 of the suits up here.
Just promo.
Now, if you don't want to commission your own character and have your own style or whatever, and you just want to have one that's already pre-made.
Can I jump in quick?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, with pre-made suits or pre-owned suits, be very, very careful because definitely recently, a lot of people probably know about this, scam suits are such a big thing right now where mass producers will take a photo off the internet of someone's personal suit and sell it for way too low of prices, $400, $300, maybe like $500, and you just have to be careful for that. Usually with fursuits like this, if it seems too good to be true, it most likely is too good to be true.
Yeah.
So just be really, really careful, especially if you're ordering off Etsy.
Yeah, I'm no problem. Like, those are very common on eBay and Amazon. So if you're going on eBay or Amazon for a fursuit, be very cautious. If the pictures are like super high quality, or if it's a suit that you recognize, it's definitely a scam suit. Like I've seen like Majira Strawberry, if you know who that is. There's definitely scam suits of Majira's suit, so you want to make sure you're not buying those because those are scams.
Yeah, be very careful with that.
Now, with that said,
Oh yeah.
if you would like
We're
to,
gonna talk about
yes, I'm going to get into that when I start. When we do the raffle for the suits, I'll get into it.
Okay.
So anyway, we have how to get a pre-made or pre-owned. There's plenty of websites. Also, artists, the creators will actually post on their Twitter. If they have suits that they want to get up. It's very good to research the suit. Make sure it connects with you because there is instances where people see a suit that they find very cute, and so they'll purchase it, and then they just don't actually connect with the suit. So studying your suit is a very good thing to do.
Yeah, Big Bang.
What happened?
I don't know, I hear laughing. Big Bang.
Okay.
Alright.
Alrighty.
You're all good.
Anyway, so ignore the slide. I actually forgot to put another slide before this one when I make this. With that said, the last two things I want to cover is the first one being that we are actually auctioning off 2 fursuits for you guys. Sorry, I did not mean to scream in the mic. We're auctioning off 2 fursuits. The first one being this guy right here.
Oh, I don't know.
This is the first fursuit that she'll have for you guys.
That was very rude.
There's some children that have been running on the convention.
Yeah,
I'm
those
sure.
children have been causing mischief all time.
Is it the little?
Yep, they got attacked.
Oh.
Anyway, so this guy right here is the fursuit that's actually up for sale. He comes with feet paws, hand paws, tail, as well as the actual head itself. It's very well made, very sturdy. The mouth will actually move when you talk. So you can actually, when you're speaking in the suit, the mouth will move along with you. It's got great ventilation. I will admit that the sight in it isn't necessarily the best, but what true fursuit actually has the best eyesight these days. So that's just Rainu. He also comes with these paws. They're very good quality, washable. He's a pretty durable suit. He's also machine washable, except for the head, obviously, because
You
he's
do
got
not
the,
stick the head in the washing machine.
because he does have the LEDs in there. However, he is easy to wash. He's very good quality suit, and like I said, he's very durable.
And if you do wash, if you do choose to wash a suit in the washing machine, definitely consult your maker first, and do not put it in the dryer. If you put a suit in the dryer, it will fry up. Faux fur is plastic. What happens to plastic when you introduce heat? It melts.
The second one up for sale is just the head here. It comes with paws, but this is the other one. It's another realistic suit. Very durable, very sweet, very new. It hasn't really been worn very much.
It's been worn twice.
If you're interested in actually seeing these, feel free. You can come up, take a look at the suits if you would like. Put them on, try them out, open them up, see if you like them or whatever. Or if you're just curious to see what they look like in a closer view, you can come up and look at any of the heads. With that said, the other thing I wanted to cover before we get to the actual sale of these suits is it's also known as furry friends. So feel free to, if you want to swap apps with each other, or if you swap apps with us, I'm looking for new friends myself.
Yeah, for sure. And anyone wants my Instagram, I have that too.
Telegram.
Telegram, Twitter.
I also want to just plug her real quick. She's an upcoming artist as well as fursuit maker.
I made all the stills that you saw and the intro page.
So yeah, if you look here, like these guys here, she made these, and then if we go all the way back here, hold on, just give me 2 seconds to go all the way back to the beginning here.
You're saying she's an artist
Yes,
and she's that good?
yes.
Amazing, right?
So these are also some of the stills she made here.
Should we get a round of applause? Round of applause! Thank you.
Her commission prices are actually very reasonable for art and or for suits. She does everything from fursuit tails, fursuit paws, heads. She's even recently starting to work on a bodysuit for me. So if you guys are interested, feel free to come up and grab her hat. She would love to get some commissions going. She's got Etsy as well as PayPal. So if you're interested in either coming up to look at the heads to make put a payment in or a bid or whatever, feel free.
I'm really debating putting Zyla back on.
Otherwise, you also have.
What are you doing?
Yeah, and then do we have any questions about any of the topics we talked about today? We're also totally open to taking questions.
We would love to answer.
There are no stupid questions.
At all.
Alright.
So yeah, if you're interested in the heads or even coming up, like I said, to get some art or anything commissioned from her, feel free to come on up.
At least for Spirit, I do not know the starting bid for anything. But for Spirit, it only starts at $300, so just keep that in mind.
So for this one here,
She's fully airbrushed, has moving jaw, and a zipper on the back of her head. So, she's very high quality. I just couldn't personally connect to the suit.
which is also why when I said earlier,
Please buy suits you connect
make sure you connect to the suit before you buy it. This one here starts at $300. Feel free to make a bid.
Or wear.
Or wear, try it on, or even just look if you're interested. This guy here, he's a little bit more expensive, but that's because, you know, he comes with, like I said, feet paws, hand paws, a tail, and the head itself.
And I mean, the more features a fursuit has, like you have LEDs and everything, the price is going to go up.
So for this guy, the starting bid, I'm going to put it at, it's going to be at $2,000 because I paid for $2,700 for him myself. He's also coming, he also will have a bodysuit to go with it. That's going to be completed soon. If you still feel free, if you know, I can get your personal information and ship out the bodysuit to you. But yeah, feel free to come on
Just to
up.
clarify, so what was the price?
So the starting price for this guy is $2,000.
So it's going to be $2,000, and you do get a full fursuit
For $2,000.
for $2,000.
Or if you get outbid, maybe.
Or
Yeah, or
It
you
is
can get outbid.
yeah, the only way that it would be more than that is if someone makes a bid. So
Yeah, and we are going to be probably taking bids until the end of today or tomorrow.
we'll say till the end of today, or
Yeah.
we'll say till you have till the end of the day to either message me
And
or
we're-
come personally and talk to
We're
me.
all over the convention. We're not going to be leaving, so
However, if you want to buy the suit outright, you can also do that.
yeah, just ask us for like the outright price, which we don't have.
And with Rainu here, it would only be just the suit. However, I am willing to sell the character with it. He comes with almost 50 pieces of art.
Art is not cheap, so that is pretty good
Yeah, so
value.
he comes. I have a piece of art. Actually, I have it here in the slide here. I'll show you. This piece of art right here was $140. So he comes with, like I said, 50 pieces of art plus this full suit, and that would just be starting at $2,000. So yeah, feel free to come up and make an offer if you wish.
Other than that, is that the conclusion?
Other than that, yes, that is the conclusion of
Thank
our
you for
panel. Thank you
joining
for joining us. And
Thanks so much, guys.
We
You have a great
appreciate
rest of the
you.
time.
yes, we appreciate you, and I hope you guys are having an amazing convention. And
Claps for the audience.
fingers crossed
Thank
on our
you,
panels. Yeah, so just if you want to hang out, mingle, talk, that's also part of
We're
Furry
here.
Friends.
Here till like
So yeah, we're here till 2:30.
2:30-ish. We got like 15 minutes left.
15 minutes to chat with us.
Yeah, you got
We're
15
cool.
minutes.
That's
We're so cool, we promise.
So yeah, feel free to come up and look at the suits or make an offer on the 2 suits that are up for sale or an auction. So
For sure, yeah, and like we have pretty good experience like commissioning art, buying fursuits. If you have any questions that you don't want to ask in front of the whole audience, feel free to come up and talk privately.
exactly.
yes, like I said, this one here is trying to get her business up and off the ground. So if anybody wants any art commissioned or a fursuit or any fursuit parts, they will be here. So thank you guys so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Silver Gatoman, he bought me a coffee. Silver Gatoman, here is the song for thee. He likes to video all the panels at the cons. You should go and watch them whether they are short or long. Silver Gatoman, you video that's not a jibe. All of you go to his YouTube channel and like and subscribe.